Ladies, gentlemen, friends, it's a great pleasure to have this conversation with the community, the first town hall post X Day. It's awesome to take the time and go into a few things that have been happening in the community with the entire ecosystem on several fronts. It's really, really, really great to see things moving forward. And each of the verticals that we're looking at taking shape and accelerating. And so today we want to do a bit of an overview on why we're doing what we're doing, why it really matters first, setting this type of context. Then we're going to revisit some of the important milestones that have happened since X Day and perhaps with X Day. And then we're taking a look at a few of the things that are coming in 2024, the direction that we're setting towards, and the things that we're pushing to achieve. So with that in mind, I'll just mention the biggest thing that I feel is happening at this point. And this very much has to do with technology. Everything that we've put together at X Day had one idea in mind, showcasing what technology can do for humanity, for society, for us as an ecosystem, and for individuals all over the world, or for businesses, states, and so forth all over the world. I believe we're at this very, very unique moment where three technologies are inching a tipping point. We're constantly, almost daily, seeing the rapid progress of everything that is happening in the field of artificial intelligence. And there's an extraordinary amount of excitement, progress, and just many things coming together to reach a kind of tipping point, unlike anything that has been seen up until this point. We've definitely seen a great pace change and acceleration during the last year. But I think the next year is nothing compared to this year will be nothing compared to what's coming. And the second sort of computing platform that is overlapping with everything and accelerating is the entire space of Web3 and specifically blockchain technology. And in this space, I also believe that some of the bridges that have been built will finally reach a kind of new tipping point, opening new roads, opening new levels of adoption, and taking things to a point that, in hindsight, will look very natural. But from this point forward, it will look remarkable. And then the third computing sort of almost revolution will be in the space, in the field of spatial computing. The idea of the metaverse with virtual reality, extended reality, and a few different breakthroughs that are coming on this field. Now, everything that we've been building with MultiversX positions us at the intersection of these technologies, enabling a new type of financial system that looks to be the infrastructure for this new phase that we're going to see play out. And not only is our technology fundamental, a kind of breakthrough unlike any other that is out there, but I believe it's uniquely positioned to be composable and interoperable with these three layers that I was mentioning. The blockchain layer will obviously be the anchor, a kind of truth machine expanding in several different fields and parts of the economy. But I do believe that specifically with artificial intelligence and with the spatial computing field, we're going to see an interplay unlike any other. In fact, during the next period, the next months, probably 1-2 years, I do believe that we're going to be continuously amazed by how fast things accelerate, what scale they take, and specifically what strategic milestones are put in place to enable adoption at a scale that was unforeseen. So we've built MultiversX to be ready for this type of adoption. In fact, we've put in a lot of effort to open up strategic conversations to build the bridges so that we can integrate these technologies, put them in place, and make sure that MultiversX as a network and as an ecosystem can accelerate and benefit of the entire acceleration that is happening within the ecosystem. So I could not be more excited by the progress that I'm seeing across these fields, but then also by the progress that I'm seeing within our ecosystem, the different startups and threads that are happening and that bring significant and measurable and considerable adoption steps that we've not seen up until this point and have continuously reappeared within the entire ecosystem. So the question is, what is to be done as we near this type of adoption, this type of tipping point? I think this is the best moment to build. This is the best moment to get involved. This is the best moment to contribute. This is the best moment to sort of bet on this future, not sit on the sideline, but find a spot that enables you to play a role within the community, within this entire landscape. And I'm sure if you're curious, if you're hungry, you will find a spot. There are many, many startups, many projects that are showing tremendous progress and are only going to accelerate. And the entire MultiversX ecosystem, I believe, will go to a completely new level. So make sure you take a look at what's happening. Find your spot, whether you're a developer, whether you're a builder, whether you're a business or part of a business. There are use cases for each of these paths, and this is the moment to explore the technology and get in the story, take a role and play your role. This being said, I do believe that things will not stop in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months. In fact, there will be a conversation for the next 5, 10, 20 years that will span across these 3 technologies and that will constantly interplay, a kind of adoption that will feature different times with different places or different technologies from these fields. But at the end of the day, there will be a kind of intertwined interplay between them where we'll see not only truth machines and creation machines, but we'll also see the spatial computing space bloom with new breakthroughs brought either by artificial intelligence or rooted in rules that are enabled by blockchain technology. This being said, this is precisely the future we are pushing for. This is the future we are looking for, where society just works in a way that is perhaps automatic, almost on an autopilot, where you do have an assistant that is there to help, to enable whatever you're doing, to accelerate it. You do have digital wallets enabled by blockchain technology that we've built at MultiversX that just work with artificial intelligence, seamlessly interact with that. And then you just teleport in different worlds to experience reality, to learn different things, to interact with friends, or to interact with new people. I believe this is the period that will unfold, that where things will get only more exciting and more interesting. So this is what we're preparing for, and what we're pushing for with MultiversX. The second point is a bit around stepping stones that we've put in place, the different milestones, the different important steps that have been done within the ecosystem since X Day. And as I've mentioned, with X Day, we've set a completely new level where we want to have the conversation at. We've set this conversation and opened it up with the different regulators from around the world, from Romania and from other countries. We've set and opened the conversation with some of the biggest companies, technology companies in the world. We've opened many more conversations with some of the builders within the ecosystem that are accelerating very, very interestingly. And we've also opened new conversations by enabling new tools, by enabling new products, by just pushing things forward so that they work even better, even faster, even more inexpensive. And so if I look at the different milestones that have been happening within the ecosystem, I can name a few of them and just touch on them. Specifically looking at the mainnet upgrade, the serious mainnet upgrade, with the first governance proposal that has been happening within the community. We've seen a sort of historic moment for Elrond and MultiversX, where basically there was 98% of the participants who voted yes. Of course, things were clear. It was obvious that the community wants a new upgrade, wants more progress, wants things to accelerate. But nevertheless, it was a very important lesson as to how a governance vote can run, how fast it takes for information to propagate within the community, how fast people participate within this referendum and vote. And we've seen a very important step being done with this first governance vote. Now, the timeline for the serious upgrade is now underway. The entire set of steps that with the features that are coming are just unfolding. It's probably going to be announced fully during the next few days, with the entire process unfolding during New Year and maybe early January, having the activation time. Very, very, very big milestone with Sirius. I cannot underscore how large this upgrade is, how many nights the entire team has focused on this, put in efforts to test, to validate the different features that have come into it. And we're quite excited to see this go live and several improvements coming live on the network. Now, on the other hand, we've had a few interesting and exciting community events happening. The first MultiversX Hub happening in Korea, where we've met with several important companies such as Tencent, Ledger, and local communities, local builders. But then we've also had people from the community, builders, important builders from the community participate in Korea. There was Xoxno, there was Cyberpunk City, and Pulsar Money. They all presented some of their milestones, some of their exciting steps with the community, to the community in Korea. We also had a large number of participants just being present, discovering the different sectors or the different vectors where we make a lot of progress and where some of the milestones within MultiversX differentiate themselves from some of the other ecosystems. We've also had notably a conversation with the Upbit exchange. I was there to speak at their conference, and I'm sure you've seen the presentation with everything that was happening there. The most important part is to see that Korea is perhaps one of the largest markets for crypto today. The adoption in that country is unlike any other country. There's estimates of 60 to 70% of the population owning crypto, interacting with crypto. So the appetite and the adoption is at a different scale, and this is why we're prioritizing Korea and having several important and strategic conversations there that we want to grow and nurture and accelerate. Of course, beside this, we've also started and kicked off several conversations that have been happening in Romania with different events, community events and meetups in Bucharest, in Cluj, and in Sibiu, with people coming in Sibiu, for instance, even though they participated in Bucharest or in Cluj. A lot of excitement, a lot of really awesome people that are either builders or maybe investors within the ecosystem, just contributors, eager to find out what's happening, eager to find out where they can participate and contribute. And this is only going to accelerate. And we're going to expand this type of meetups and conversations. Now, there has been a presentation around the ambassador program, which will integrate and bring together several parts of the different, let's say, community fields. We've noticeably had a lot of people contribute, for instance, on Telegram for years, whether it's admins or people within the different languages and channels. Then a lot of the conversation has moved on Twitter with many contributors within the community on that front. And the ambassador program brings things together, aligns them, and sets a clear objective where we want to channel the entire focus toward a single goal: growth of the entire MultiversX ecosystem. We have seen, of course, tremendous interest and excitement around the community events, and we're going to accelerate and maybe announce some new things on this front. Beside this, we've also seen the sessions happen on the DeFi front, NFT front, and then the developers conversations, and then the validator conversations. These are very important streams of information that we want to keep pushing towards, where we hear a lot of ideas and feedback, where we can share some of the progress that is happening, some of the ideas that are in the pipelines, and then also hear a lot of other feedback that is coming afterwards on the forums or on the different chat channels that we have together. I also want to take a moment and maybe underscore a few of the really exciting steps that I've seen on a few fronts within the community. Of course, this is not to say that these projects that I'm just going to mention are the only ones making important steps, but this will probably do in each of the conversations and town halls that will hold in the future as well. Just mentioning a few of the milestones and touching on them because they're really important, and they all contribute to this acceleration of the entire MultiversX ecosystem. If I look at some of the projects, I can name, for instance, AshSwap with the aggregator V2 being live with many integrations: CoinDrip, Xportal, QuantumX, and Soxno. A lot of progress on that front, and always love to see this type of progress coming from projects. Then Soxno, a lot of support for buying NFTs with any ESDT via AshSwap, their integration and so forth. ash prep that is just happening with a $11,000 prize for ecosystem projects that are participating. Really exciting to see that. Then, of course, Hatem has had a really impressive set of steps and milestones, just not stopping, pushing forward, and another step and another step and another step. And it's great to see any type of builders just pushing and delivering value, and then raising the standard in terms of quality, in terms of delivery. And I hope that this is just the beginning, and we're going to see a lot more from a lot more projects. Then if I take a look at on the payments front, Pulsar Money with social payments expanding to Discord, new modules, payment links, in-app command builder, and so forth. Again, really great progress. Cyberpunk City, the Maze event, a kind of virtual event offering users chances to compete for 50 Eagle prizes. This is a very interesting game, one that is just trying to do something different and then also meaningful. We've met with the team several times, loved the energy, again, loved the focus, and loved to see them pushing, being present at the different hubs and so forth. So keep pushing on that front. Of course, Ichi Bucharest, another 2 NFT collections with Romanian postal office, and Radio Romania. Some official partnerships with Ethereum and with Xoxno. The interesting part is that I appreciate very much here is seeing a kind of institution push within this space, making some noise, drawing some attention, raising awareness. And with each of the steps, MultiversX is just moving forward. It's not one step that essentially changes the paradigm, but 100 such steps put together that enable this completely new step that we're pushing toward. Then, of course, QWatt with 10 new recharging stations, recent stations payment integration via Xmoney, Apple Pay, Google Pay. This, I will only underscore that it's significantly more difficult usually to do progress in the world of atoms. When you want to build something virtually, usually you go sit at a computer and just push forward. When you want to have impact outside in the real world, there are many conversations that need to happen. So it's great to see this type of progress and MultiversX moving forward on that front as well. Then there's eShops from QWatt with eApes, both with Xmoney integrations. There's a lot of positive progress from Sense for Fit Summit 2024 unveiled. Then ticketing will be done with Xoxno, officially announced, and live gym events, global challenges. Again, great to see progress, great to see iterations, explorations, and so forth. And I actually invite the entire community to just take a look at each of these projects. Click a bit around, play with the technologies, and come offer some feedback to them, because they very much deserve it. Gods of Fire, this is the second place in the X-Day Hackathon gaming track. Alpha game is live. A lot of excitement, a lot of interesting things that are being explored there. Great to see them making progress. Knights of Katina, close to 1 million transactions already processed. Some of the steps just take a lot of time, maybe years to reach, but then once things fall into place, each of the steps bring some very significant milestones when put together. Then Arda, of course, they are super cool, making a lot of progress on the audits front. the better the ecosystem works, the better the market is. You always want security. That's the most important part. If you have security, you can get excited, you can explore things. Without security, you cannot do any of this part. So they've audited Atom's booster, and then controller V2, then Salsa liquid staking V2.1. A lot of excitement on seeing this type of rigor being deployed in parallel to everything that is being done. And this also brings a lot of hope for the standards that are being put in place whenever someone is launching something and is trying to move things forward. Then maybe Joule Swap, leveraged LPs, farms, stables, isolated lending pools, flexi loans with EGLD to mint JVL EGLD. During the last days, by the way, I've seen a lot of versions of EGLD. It's always very interesting and fascinating to explore this part, to learn about them, to see the different derivatives that are appearing. I also would urge everyone to be very careful when they explore, experiment this new field, and only do so with money that they can afford to lose. There's a lot of excitement, progress, and I think the projects that we're seeing within the MultiversX ecosystem are coming to a point where milestones are more impressive, are more significant, and are also reaching the end users. And it's great to see this all coming together. Then there's maybe a last point, which is the Globies, a kind of public sale that has been happening on the Be Hero Launchpad. The ecosystem is accelerating on every front. We've seen this, and I've seen it every day. People, whether they're builders, whether they're creators, whether they're educators, whether they're investors, are coming together. And I was mentioning this before X Day, but I can clearly state it even stronger right now. The level of the discourse, the level of the conversations, the level of the feedback, even the level of the disagreements has gone to a completely new level. People have learned from the different leads within the community, from the different champions, ambassadors, and builders, that they can do things differently, that they can really contribute, that they can get involved. And it takes a very long time until things fall into place. But I think we're now at a point where we're starting to see some significant results. And we're very, very excited about those. Now, in addition to all of this, I will also mention a few of the things that have been happening closer to the network. And maybe with some products that have been put in place that are still part of the ecosystem, but are closer to what some of the teams have been building, whether we're looking at a one-click node deployment that is already live within AWS, helping hundreds of thousands of developers streamline their interaction with MultiversX infrastructure, whether we're looking at XAlias, that just enables simplified onboarding for different players that want to take this to the next level, just don't want to think about the onboarding part, don't want to interact with wallets and so forth. Being able to do this with your Gmail is extraordinary, and it is the step that enables people to just take the conversation to the next level. The highly active MultiversX NFT space that has exceeded 10,000 collections created, a lot of artists, creators, collectors, and a lot of great energy that I've seen change, that where I've seen people contribute a lot, whether it's the people that have organized the events for the community, the chess competitions, the different conversations. Big congrats for all these events. I've seen that there's another X sort of year in review organized by the same people, Beniamin and some of these other friends in the NFT space. A lot of good energy and a lot to learn from how they do this, how they bring everyone together, and actually love to see this type of conversation move things forward. Then, of course, a major milestone for all of these conversations is the X-Portal debit card. Now, I'm mentioning this at the same time where we all know that, for instance, Binance will stop its card on the 20th of December. This opens up a great opportunity that we want to seize and that we want to leverage with the community. So thank you for all the different shares of where you use the card, how you unbox the card. I've seen the excitement, I've seen the experience. The entire team has been putting a lot of effort into this to be able to deliver. Now there's at every step of the way, there are new things that we need to rethink, put in place, things that we need to solve. And we're still with the card at a very, very early stage. So being at the 6th wave of deliveries is great, and seeing the adoption, seeing the excitement with real world consequences, seeing this bridge out in the wild is really great, because it means we're not a small island, a paradise maybe, but somewhere out in the wild with no one to use the island, with no one to come in, go out. So seeing this live is what makes us extremely, extremely excited. Then, of course, a lot of work has been underway with X Exchange V3, and the entire team is pushing extremely hard to come with some upgrades on this front. I've also seen a lot of interesting interactions within the community, within the entire space, and especially DeFi, it seems, has come to a point where the engines are really, really pushing things. You can hear the engine of DeFi maybe louder than any other field within the MultiversX ecosystem at this point. Then also X-Fabric is out, and a lot of people have been getting a kind of beta invite to test it, to give feedback, to share some of the things and simplify the onboarding. But again, maybe stepping back, the point is that with XDay, we've promoted to a new level. We've set a different type of conversation, and we've pushed extremely hard to maintain this conversation within the entire ecosystem. MultiversX is not only a network. MultiversX is an ecosystem, a community, and a network. To the extent that we can leverage this and channel the force that the ecosystem has, we will take things to a level that is incomparable to anything that we've achieved up until this point. We've done a lot of things. We've put things in place, and then to see the builders come, take the torch, and take things to the next level is extraordinary. But I believe that what we've seen up until this point is just a fraction of some of the things that are coming. Which brings me to maybe the last point of the conversation, which is thinking a bit about 2024. Some of the things that we've been putting in place, some of the things that we've been preparing. And we've had many conversations during the last period, almost rethinking everything, taking things and looking at them with fresh eyes, seeing what we can do completely different, significantly more effective, and putting things on a trajectory that can bring some extraordinary results. And so if we look at the different directions, there are a few things around which we're going to come with a very, very significant update. And this, I think, is the most important step. It will give us a leverage for the entire community. Up until this point, you've seen us accelerate efforts around builders to start to address everything that is happening, to help them, to enable them to iterate a lot faster, and to be here, whether it's with office hours or with feedback or with integrations, interactions, connections to different projects, either within the ecosystem or outside. I believe that what we've done is great, but we can do a lot better. And for the year 2024, we're going to essentially supercharge things and take them to a point where it's not only about speed and delivering a lot faster, but it's also about focus and choosing the battles that we want to fight to bring an impact that accumulates and change things completely. And if I look at the different directions, especially for the ecosystem, we're going to have a very special focused conversation for the builders, announcing a set of programs that puts everything together, makes it very clear how they can engages with the builders for their entire journey, and expands the ecosystem, bringing other parties, whether it's investors or other builders or other integrators within this space for us to be able to move mountains with. A second persona or stakeholder that we believe is very big and significant, that we've, for the last maybe 2 years, not addressed as good as we'd like to, are the businesses, companies, and enterprises. And we believe there is a great opportunity here. And we're going to announce a set of efforts that simplify, that showcase a few of the most useful use cases that are accessible and available at this point. And we're also going to do a kind of MultiversX Enterprise Day every quarter. Not only will this happen for the builders will be taken to the next level, but engaging with the enterprises opens up a completely different conversation in parallel to the entire conversation that we're going to expand and accelerate with the builders. But then a third set of conversations will be with a stakeholder that we've always been maybe very undecided how we should approach, how we should interact with. And this has been the investor. The investor is a stakeholder that is crucial within any ecosystem in the blockchain space. But there has been a kind of dual relationship. On the one hand, it's all this regulatory landscape that is creeping in, always making things very difficult and confusing. Then on the other hand, without investors, none of the ecosystems that exist today would be where they are. So on this front as well, we're going to unveil a set of very useful ideas that will map the journey, that will guide the different investors, and that will bring them a lot closer. There are retail investors and there are institutional investors. There are many, many discussions that we're having on this front, but the entire point will be that on this front as well, we'll have a MultiversX Investor Day, where we'll showcase some ideas, educate some of the people, raise awareness to some of the things that are happening, and also start some conversations that are important to begin, and that are not conversations we're starting from one day to the other. These are important conversations that will echo across the months, across the years. But the most important part is that each of these verticals, if done right, instantly elevates the conversation around MultiversX, instantly puts us in a very, very different category where people are aware of the technology, they can build on the technology, they can integrate the technology if they're a business, or they can invest in a kind of new type of future where they want to be part of. It's very, very important to understand that this is a discussion for the longer term. This is a discussion for people that really want to see a change in society, a change in the current financial system, a change within the entire economy. And this is what we're building and putting together. Now, of course, we've been adding, let's say, new modules to the plan that we're putting in place. And very soon, we're going to share this with the community to get feedback. As we'll share it, you'll see that many of the things that we've been discussing about are now coming home. They're coming together and they work in a composable way to accelerate and grow the entire scale of everything we're doing. Now, of course, this will happen on the technical side, where accelerate things. We have some very, very important milestones on that front, whether it's the 1 second block times, whether it's the sovereign shards coming live, whether it's new experiments on the governance front, whether it's a valid new dynamic management system for validators with staking phase 4, or important upgrades that are coming for the VM to improve developer experience, to enable simpler and more useful developer tools, and of course, a kind of universal zero knowledge roll-up technology that will be enabled and will be coming live on MultiversX. These are very, very significant milestones that we have, that we're pushing towards, and that will continue to happen on the technical side. With the entire set of business development efforts, we're going to penetrate the markets, have the conversations with different verticals, and then accelerate adoption in a very focused and systematic way in parallel on all of these fields. But then, in addition to all that, we're also having some important conversations with respect to marketing. A marketing that showcases some of the features that we've built, makes sure that people, whenever they hear MultiversX, they know what it is. Marketing that makes sure that we're present at the most important events, that we're present even outside of the crypto events, that we're present at different conferences, that we're present in the discussions and conversations with the regulators, that we're present not only with builders, but then also with enterprises and then with investors. All these conversations will be very different. As we've taken the time, you've seen that we've done things our way, the MultiversX way. And this is how the builders within the MultiversX ecosystem are doing things at this point. The important point is that right now, we're reaching the point where several of the milestones that we wanted to have out are clear, are achieved, and MultiversX is in the best position possible, not only to continue to execute, to continue to elevate the standards, but to really push the message out, to start some very meaningful, focused and repeated conversations to make sure that we conquer one market after another in order to reach the milestone that we want. At the end of the day, you may remember that we've set out to build the technology that will enable the next billion of users to interact with this new space, to experience new experiences, to use new type of financial systems that enable them to build new futures for their families, for their children's, build a new future for the society. And with each new step that we've taken, we've made sure that we're doing what's necessary in order to be able to accelerate to a point unlike any other. So the year 2024 will be the year where the world meaningfully discovers MultiversX on many fronts. This, again, will be a systematic effort where the community will get involved, where we're turning this inward force that we have within this ecosystem toward the outside. And we're helping start this global movement where around the world we move forward with X hubs, with meetups, with different conversations touching on each of these verticals. And we are not moving alone, but we're also taking some of the exciting and ambitious projects that are building on top of the MultiversX network. Now, I have begun with this idea that I believe we're at this very, very unique point where almost each day, as I look at the different things that are happening, I cannot not get excited about what is happening. Of course, there are challenges, and of course, there will continue to be challenges, whatever we're trying to do. There will be challenges even if we don't try to do anything. The very important point is that now the opportunities are extremely clear. Whether you are watching this and you're a builder, you're a developer, whether you're a community member wanting to be a champion for MultiversX, or whether you're an investor just looking to build a new type of future, looking to build a new type of society for your family, for your friends, for the people around you. MultiversX is this significant step forward. It has taken us years to come to this point, but I believe 2024 will be by far the best year that we've had. We're finally ready. The engines are in place. You can hear some of them pushing a lot faster, a lot harder than some of the others. But each of the steps, each of these verticals put us on a very, very different trajectory. Up until this point, some engines were working, some others were barely starting. It was like we have this extremely powerful car, but the entire engine is not yet started. Something is not yet fully functional to really push the pedal. Now, I believe we're finally ready. And when I say we, I say the entire ecosystem. When we're looking at the builders that are pushing the envelope and sharing some of their milestones, when I'm looking at the different educators and creators within the community, when I'm looking at the different investors that are approaching us and thinking how they can participate and so forth, when I'm looking at the different companies with which we are having the conversations, I cannot be more excited. This is the moment, it's our moment, and it's extremely important to push as hard as possible to make things happen and to essentially build, grow, and accelerate. This will be the theme to which will come over and over again on every front. Now, as a last note, I will say that it's almost Christmas, and we, entire team, and I'm sure the entire community, wishes all the other community members happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I think we have seen some fascinating things as milestones that have been done as we end 2023. I also believe that we could not be in a better position to execute, to take things to the next level, and to accelerate. Now is the time to build, and we'll keep pushing as hard as possible. Very much looking forward to have you with us on this journey and to hear your thoughts. And let's push this to the next level. Thank you, and take care. Talk very soon.